Hey, what's up, all you everyday masters out there? In this video, I'm going to be doing something I've never done, and that is promote an event. Friday the 10th, my good buddy is putting on this live summit. It's called Masters, Mediums, and Mystics. I'm going to be a co-host. I've had a couple interactions with mediums in my life, actually two of them, and both were extremely profound. And I know there's a lot of maybe sketchy mediums out there, but I am personally batting 1,000 with both of my experiences. And also, I think we're going to be talking about near-death experiences, and I am a huge fan. I've never actually had a near-death experience, but for some reason, I find myself watching at least a couple videos a week on near-death experiences. So I'm going to let my buddy Adam talk about the event, and I hope to see you Friday the 10th.
How many people you got? 10?
Well, it all depends on the scheduling. If you include you and me, we have 10, maybe an 11th person, because you and I are going to be part of that. So,
Okay.
I mean, it just depends. Right now, we have people promoting it. I'm going on to another YouTube channel to promote it. And I didn't like, this is not my jam to promote stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's funny because as I'm talking to people, and I guess we can talk about this later. People are like, "Oh, wait, can you come onto my YouTube channel? Wait, can you be a guest speaker at my event?" I'm like, that's not what I was doing this for sure.
Yeah. That's how it works, dude.
Well, it's like, I'm fine with that. I love people. I love doing events. And, right now I have the luxury of time and being able to do things for free. And it's like, these are passion projects I had to put on this back burner when I was plugging away in corporate America.
Yeah.
All those years while I was doing the work. So,
would you consider yourself a medium?
oh, thanks, man. Just pop that one right out of there. Real good.
No, I because you get messages for people. You right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that's a great question. Here's the challenge. You got to be careful, because when we talk about a medium, right? And this whole event that you'll be helping me co-host is about awaken the medium within. People define a medium as somebody that can commune or contact or have a conversation with or get impressions from people on the other side, dead relatives, loved ones, the deceased. And so I think there's different levels. I think it's not a gift, in my opinion. It's an ability. And I believe we all have the ability. It's an innate ability we were born with. And just like a professional athlete has to develop their skills on some level, I believe some of us are born with a little bit more than others. Some of us have life experiences that bring it through. Others develop it. Yep. And maybe this will change after this event, because the more people I work on, the more I get messages. And for a while, I had a very challenging concept around mediumship, because it just happened to me one day, just boom, one day during a healing session, just like the ones you and I always do, just all of a sudden.
Yeah. I can imagine the first one was kind of threw you for a loop. You're kind of like, who's
you want me to tell you the story?
Yeah,
I'll tell you the story. You can decide to put it in there or not.
Yeah.
So I had been doing the reconnective healing work for a few years. Mm-hmm. I was living in Dallas. I had just gone through, a whole bunch of crazy stuff in life. And I had one of my rooms set up as my healing room. And I had a bunch of clients coming through. And this one day I had like 3 clients, and it was just random. And I was working in corporate America the whole time. So I'm like, my mind is on other stuff. And I'm in there and I'm working on somebody doing this session. And all of a sudden, and I'm not kidding, this sounds horrible, like you're not present, but I was thinking about, where am I going to take this person I'm going on a blind date with on Friday, right? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was like the needle on a record player just went, eek! And I hear this voice inside of my head. It was a female's voice talking to me, and I'm like, looking around, and I'm still doing the work on this person. I'm like, what? And then I hear it audibly, only in my right ear. which is funny because I don't know if I've ever shared this story with you, but this ear got ripped off of my head when I was a 5-year-old child.
Wow.
A severe car accident where I actually had a near-death experience, which another topic, which I'll talk about on the live show. But all of a sudden this female voice started telling me stuff. And then I saw these visual things. Like if I tell you to imagine a file cabinet at the dentist's office, and you go and you know how you click it, you open it up, and there's all these different colored file folders with tabs on it.
Yeah.
You saw it. That's how I saw it, just how you did, anyone listening. And so it had like initials on it and a name. And then I saw this big wheel and all this stuff. So after the session was over, I'm like, what I did was I went over to my table and I started writing it down. And for brevity's sake, when I would write something, I'd hear like, go with the big wheel. I know that sounds cheesy. Go with the big wheel, go with the big wheel. I wrote it down and I just underlined things instead of writing it over and over.
Yeah.
Every time I heard it, I'd underline it. And then I saw a couple of other things. Long story short, I get finished and I'm freaking out. I'm like, okay, what did you experience during your session? But I'm in my mind just freaking the F out. Like, somebody was talking to me. I don't even see him. I'm so confused. I felt something really weird in my stomach and the pain. And I'm like, oh my God, am I doing something wrong? So I remember this. I sat down on the floor in my office because my chair was on the other side and I just was shooken. I sat down and I'm like, so I have something to tell you, but I don't know. I don't know how to do this. And I said, so does the name Emily mean anything to you? And the woman busts out crying. I bust out crying. I'm like, oh! I'm like, I don't even know why I'm crying. And so she's crying, I'm crying. And this comes out of my mouth. And you know, I'm a no BS guy. She says to me, she goes, Adam, that's my 3-year-old daughter. And out of my mouth comes, yes, it is, but it's also the other one. And I went, there's no way that just came out of my mouth. I go, I'm so sorry. And she bursts into more tears.
Wow.
And she tells me that about this daughter, Emily, that's 3 years old, and that she was pregnant with another child that passed away while in the womb. And she lost that child, but she always thought that it was the same spirit as Emily coming back. Like her soul wasn't ready to come back until later on. And then all of these things that came through. So every single thing I said in there, she knew exactly what I was talking about. I had names, like the big wheel thing. Her daughter was turning like 6 or 7 years old. She was out in her car in front of my place, and she was writing out lists for what she wanted for her daughter's birthday. And I said, well, was it this big wheel that was pink with white wheels and tassels hanging on it that I explained to her multiple times? She goes, no, but here's what's really strange, Adam. About 2 weeks ago, we were in Walmart, and I was there with her brother who's riding big person bikes. And she looks over at her daughter, and her daughter looked up and goes, hey, mommy, I want this bicycle for my birthday. And it was the exact big wheel I had explained to her that was given to me in the vision. And I looked at her and I was like, go with the big wheel?
Yeah.
But it was, some of her relatives came through. Case, every single person after that day, every single person I interacted with in healing sessions, I got messages for it, and it just got stronger and stronger and stronger. And then I would be in a business meeting. Like I was in corporate America still. So I'd go in and I'd negotiate multi-million-dollar contracts with people. And I'm sitting there in a board table, and I'm looking over, and like, it was funny. I remember the first time it happened, I was in this room trying to negotiate a big distribution contract with somebody, and they had nothing. Like this guy was the master negotiator. So he had no pictures of himself or his family up on the walls and all this stuff. Yeah. And he was down the hall, and he walks in, sits down, and I'm like, as a salesperson, I'm looking, how can I relate to this guy and get rapport?
Yeah.
And he sits down, and all of a sudden this voice tells me, ask him about the fishing trip with his stepson. And I go, so how was your fishing trip or with your stepson? And he looks at me and goes, excuse me? I said, how was your fishing trip with your stepson? You caught a lot, didn't you? He goes, yeah. How did you know about that? I go, oh, I don't know. Maybe were you talking about it in the hallway or something? I'm not going to tell him, oh, some person's telling me in my right ear that you just went on a fishing trip.
Yeah.
I landed a large, over $1 million contract because we built this rapport with this guy. It was, and then it just snowballed after that.
Yeah.
So
does that continue now in your everyday life, or is it mostly, do you have control over it? You know what I mean? Like, can you call upon it on will, or like, is it just sporadic?
Okay. So this is going to be pretty raw. All right. Like, this is going to be pretty raw because this is the reason.
Have you seen my channel?
Yes.
Raw is my channel.
I'm doing it. This is why I'm doing this event with you. And I really want to educate people. I think more people have experiences, maybe not to the degree that I did, but have their dead loved ones or others talk to them, or impressions of intuition. So to answer your question, yes, it still happens, but it's totally different. What happened after that 9-month period was I had a 3-month backlog of clientele, and I was booked, and I was totally neglecting my corporate job because I had so many bookings every single day. On the weekends, everything was full. I loved it. I was on cloud 99. and after this was going on, I kept being pulled by, to remain nameless, my mentors that taught me healing work to bring me out. Long story short, you know, the work we do, it's like, hey, don't give messages to people. This is not right. So I had it ingrained into myself, even though I had this list of people coming in for the healings that I was facilitating, but they were also getting a healing from the messages I was giving them.
Totally.
But it was not in alignment with the reconnective healing principles. I could never teach on stage, oh yeah, this might happen to you. Well, we know that when we work on people, boom, their intuition can increase, their chakras open up, they get messages and information quickly because we're tuning in to the vibration. So I felt like I was doing something wrong because I was giving information.
Yeah.
And basically what happened was I said, no, I'm done. So I stopped seeing clients. Stupid move, right?
Stupid move, yeah.
I just stopped seeing clients, and I didn't see clients, and I pushed all my clients out. And then I took about a couple month break, didn't see any clients, focused on corporate America. And I said, you know what? I miss this. It's what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I thought to myself, well, I can do a healing session on somebody, and at the end of it, say, now that session's over, there's another ability that I have, and I give information. It is not a reconnective healing session. It is something else. And if you would like the information that I received during the session, I'll give it to you. But please understand it's not reconnective healing, because I wanted to be in 100% integrity.
Yeah, totally.
So I started doing that. Well, here's the funny thing. When I went back into the first session, I started working on somebody, and I'm getting these impressions, but it was different. And I was like, huh. So I gave the person the information. Like, one thing was accurate out of like 10. It was like, they didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Dude, let me tell you something, brother. If you ever want to feel like you abandoned the universe.
Yeah, totally, dude. I can
tell you, I thought I did something wrong. I thought I created this sin. I thought I squandered this gift the universe gave me because I was listening to somebody else tell me I should do this.
Totally.
And I just didn't feel supported. Now, what's interesting is I realized that the healings were the portal, or the catalyst for this to come in. And as I was doing healing sessions, it was like my radio antenna was going up, and these energies or dead people or loved ones that were talking to me were like, oh, my loved one's on the table. I'm going to go through him and give them a message because they need to hear this. It'll heal their grief. I want them to know I still love them. Everything's fine. I'm doing the next thing I'm supposed to do. And the only way they'll know it is because I'm going to tell him specifically, this is the locket that your grandmother gave to me that I gave to you, and blah, blah, blah. And here's my specific name, and here's a hobby I did. I'm wearing this hat. And so,
I mean,
it went away. And now my search since then has been, now that I've struggled with it, it comes through differently, brother. Like, you know, you just know things. It comes through in conversation. It comes through in moments and in sessions. Yes, it does come through when I work on people, and I still offer it, but I have to separate it. It's different.
Yeah. I think if I get any messages, it would be like you just described. It's more subtle, and it's more in conversations, and it's absolutely not crystal clear in my ear. So, well, I guess first of all, tell people what you got going on. I know I'm a part of it. I don't really feel like I'm qualified to be a part of it, but
you're very qualified. You're gonna be my co-host, if you will, for
that's
a
cool.
live event that we're going to be putting on Friday, December 10th. It's called Masters, Mediums, Mystics, Awaken the Medium Within. And so this is the reason I'm doing this. Like, I'm not making any money off of this. I'm about educating. So I went out seeking what were my experiences? What was this near-death experience I had? Was that the reason that these dead people started talking to me, or was it because I was doing this healing work, or was it a combination? And why have I always been guided towards this in my life path on all of these crazy occult, alternate spiritualities? So I was like, I sought out all these experts, and over the years I became friends with them, and some of them were very well-known professional mediums, are very well-known professional mediums. Some are researchers in the field. And, as we traveled all over the world, I would just meet people. I'd introduce them. Sometimes I'd speak on the same stage as them. And I always respect these people and kept their information and tried to stay in contact. So I called up a few of my friends. I'd been wanting to do this for many years. And now that this hit, it's perfect timing because I have a little bit of time to do this. And I was like, I'm going to do this. This is going to be fun. I'm going to put a live event together. And everyone's like, yeah, this is great. Let's do it. And then they're like, and you need to talk to this person, and I'll call this person, and I'll email this person. So it went from mediums to psychics and mediums.
Hold on. What's the difference?
Aha. Great question. Well, that's what we're going to answer during the all-day live event. I have my opinion, but I want to ask those questions to the professionals. Because some people call themselves evidential mediums. Some people go, oh, well, I'm a psychic. Well, there are differences between the two of them. We're going to explore that on the show. We're going to talk to people that have had near-death experiences. Like, one person said 5, another person said 6 of them.
5, dude.
Like, and they're very well known. They're big in the field of NDEs. One of the researchers we're going to have on, she has the world's largest collection of data and research on near-death experiences in the world.
Wow.
In the world.
Wow.
The others are some very famous mediums. They've got their own shows. I'm going to be promoting on those, but it's a weird mix that came up, and a few people might be added in the last moment. But what's fun about it is we're going to get a mix. We're going to hear from people that are part of the International Association of Near-Death Studies. And we're going to hear from people a woman that coined the term spiritually transformative, spiritually transformative experiences, STEs. And she talks about, hey, whether it's near death, whether you've had an out of body experience, whether you've had an intuitive thing, or we know whether you've had the reconnection or you've had this experience that opened you up. What are these, and what do they mean, and what are they telling you? We're going to talk to her about that. She's going to explain all of these different phenomena that people have. So I mean, it's going to be fun, and I'm here I want to bring around awareness. You know me, I'm about education. I'm an educator, man. I want to share information. I want to show it. I want to be in the field of all of this and vibrate with it. And
I'm a big fan of all of it. I've had 2 conversations with mediums, and both of them it was just immediately life-altering information that came through. I was kind of, there's a part of me that's, I don't want to say jealous, but I feel like the work that we do, in the grand scheme, we're planting seeds, and those seeds will bloom and change the person's life. But a medium, dude, it's instant. Like, as soon as you get that message, you have to start asking better questions about life. And I just love the immediacy of being able to give somebody information that only could have come from a loved one that's passed on, or there's just something beautiful about the immediacy of that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now, I will say this. Here's one other reason I'm doing this. And I've only invited high integrity people that I know are real and delivering real messages. Because I've gone to psychics and mediums before, and I walked out there like, that was a crock of crap.
Yeah. I'm batting 1,000. I have a very select experience, and they were both home runs. So yeah,
I love it. Well, I hear what you're saying about the almost jealous. I know you don't mean it in that way, but it's kind of like, well, why did this happen to this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? And I said the same thing to myself. You know what happened right after my experience, brother? I called my dad, and I was crying, and I said, Dad. Now, for background for anyone that's listening, I was raised diehard Catholic. Mm-hmm. I went to Catholic schools from 3rd through 12th grade. I was in an all-guys Catholic school from 7th through 12th. I was in choir. I was in campus ministry. I was doing missionary work. I was considering becoming a priest very seriously.
Yeah.
Thank God for
women.
They
loved you, dude.
Thank God for women and what happened after that. But just to kind of bring it back, I called my dad and I said, Dad, I think I might be going crazy. I may have to commit myself into a psychiatric ward.
Wow.
And now I'm telling my even more religious, I'm telling my own more religious dad this. And I go, this is going to sound weird, Dad, but I need you to listen to me. And after I told him, I will never forget, he goes, Adam, you're not going crazy. You have a gift that you've been given from God, and use it. And I was like, my Catholic dad just
awesome,
said that
man.
to me.
What a cool dad.
And he goes, the one thing I do know is that nobody can question your relationship with God.
Yep.
And everything became okay.
Yeah. Nice.
Now, I don't particularly think my dad believes in mediums.
But no, he supported you when you needed support, and that's what a dad's supposed to do. You don't have to. Yeah. No, that's awesome.
But see, I feel like everyone's got it, and I think that some people have been misdiagnosed or treated as if they're crazy and then given medications because they didn't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where good coaching comes in. I believe maybe today, this was happened in 2003 or 4. If I would have had a coach or a mentor at that time say, Adam, it's okay what you're doing. Keep going. The healing sessions are the doorway for this. Yeah. Go develop the skill.
Yeah.
I may be a very top famous medium today, but that's not the course that I took. Now, does it come through?
But you learned a really good lesson.
Yeah.
And when you closed that door to follow your other programming that you have been taught, that's a really good lesson. But that door open. I hope just being a part of this in my small, just being in the background watching, I hope my level of mediumship goes from, if it's 0 to 100, I'm probably at about a 12. I'd like to get to about a 30. So
come on.
That would be awesome.
Well, you know what's going to happen is some of the professionals on there, they're not only mediums, but they're teachers. So they teach people how to develop their mediumship, and that's going to be a big focus of it. So you and I, when we're asking questions of these people, you're going to have carte blanche for whichever one you want to be a part of that day. We'll ask them, the mediums, okay, well, what are the 1 or 2 things you recommend the people watching this or attending this live show that are registered? What do you recommend they do at home? And then they'll give their recommendations, because you think about it, they're all like little recipes. Mm-hmm. And if you get a recipe from like 6, 7 mediums that are doing this and teaching others, and they give it to you, you're going to walk. This is going to be like a training course. It's going to be like a mediumship crash course on developing your intuition and awakening that medium within you. So
awesome.
You're going to walk away with some tools too, my friend, and just interacting it. I think that's interesting. You talk a lot about the field and being in the frequencies and energies. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to drop this one thing. And what I have noticed in the last I'd say 2 months that I've been planning this is whenever I'm doing a session, the messages are coming through stronger.
Yeah.
So it's so funny because just calling my friends that are mediums, talking to them, talking to multiple people I've never met that are with near-death experiences, mediums, it's like that field is expanding and my antennas are invisibly going back up. So I'm starting to get precognition. My dreams are crazy, which is where we get a lot of it. So man, it's, you can't tell that I'm a bit passionate about this stuff, right?
If I am giving a session and I start getting a message for my client, I will have zero problem giving that message. I am so open to that. I'm so open to, because the way I look at what we do is we are channeling light and information.
Yeah.
And a message is information. Like, it might not be the information that we were taught that we were channeling, but it's absolute. My job is to help whoever comes to me feel better, to have more joy, to have their life make more sense. And so if you're listening, universe, I am absolutely open for messages while I'm giving a
go to case.
Just come on. I will be, I'm a servant. So yes, I will.
I think that's a great mindset to have. Every one of the people that are going to be on the show have mentioned something like that. They're like, look, I love what you're doing. We need to educate more people. There's people out there that are lost, that don't know how to develop this, that want to some people just want to get a message from their loved ones. Or here's the other part that we're going to explore. How often are we getting messages from our deceased loved ones? And are we actually listening to them?
And not even listening to them. Yeah. I had this interesting session yesterday, this reconnection with this lady in Idaho Springs, and she was 57 years old. And at 55, something in her turned on, and she hears her, like, if she says it's 1 to 10, she hears the clarity of these beings, guides. It's at a 12. Like, it's 24/7. They're always there. And she was just like, she was like you. She's like, I'm losing it. Like, I've lost my mind. Like, I'm schizophrenic. Like, I'm getting like, who the fuck is talking to me? And ironically enough, dude, during the session, she flashed back to a near-death experience. She died in a terrible car accident when she was like 17. And a being came to her and said, you have to go back. And that is one of the beings that is in constant communication with her. So
I love that.
I didn't get the message, but the session opened that up for her. Yeah. Anyway, I just think it's beautiful that people that are 55 years old, not that that's a special age, even though that's what I'm at, that you can just go your whole life and be completely blind to these gifts that we have, and then boom, they're turned on. And so yeah, dude, I'm really looking forward to it. Is there anything? I'll put some links in this video in the description and in the comment. And so when is it, dude?
December 10th, Friday, December 10th, starting at 9 a.m. Pacific time. What link that they'll click on below that I'll give you? Mm-hmm. They just click on the link. It'll take them to mastersmediumsmystics.com, and it's just a registration page. That's it. So you can search all over. It's not Energy Healthcare Connection.
You don't need like our social security number or anything like that?
No, you put your name in, because all I need is the name and contact info. It'll automatically send you to another page that'll give more information about the event. And then I'll send reminder emails. Hey, here's your Zoom link. And then we'll start that day at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And we'll go for hours. I mean, I'm booking people right now, and they're promoting it all over the place. So there's going to be some fun. I mean, this is going to be fun, man.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm excited.
Yeah. I've never done anything live before. So this is cool.
Yeah. Well, if we can get technology figured out, it might work.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man. I will post this video, and anything else you want to say? I will say that I really admire the fact that, most people, when they start a YouTube channel, they just start posting videos and talking, and your basically first video on your YouTube channel is going to be like some live worldwide summit of mediums in it. That's awesome, dude. That's very, very cool.
I have other videos on there, but they're not as engaging and fun. Like there's me speaking, which is a good talk, but then it's like, okay, well then I have some of my healing sessions that I'm learning. Oh, this one's cool. Maybe people want to see that, just like you do, like people flipping all over the table, and then they're like, huh? And then my daughter says, well, Dad, you think YouTube's that great? Let's put you on TikTok.
Yeah.
And then let's see how you explode with your healing work. I'm like, what? I'm like, TikTok? I'm like, what am I going to do? Dancing? And like, what?
I'm definitely going to start a TikTok. I've been talking about this for a while. I would love to start a TikTok that's just straight to the point, much more edgier than my YouTube videos. Everybody that I speak to, nobody's parents talked about these things. Like everybody was in the dark. And I would just love to be like that uncle that gives you like the best advice, that plants that seed in that 40-second TikTok video that you start thinking about. You're like, wow, that kind of made sense. So I don't know if I'll do it. I talk about a lot of stuff. I've talked about us doing a podcast, and like 6 weeks, I think we posted like one video. So, hopefully we can.
Well, this can be turned into a podcast. We're going to keep doing this, right?
Yeah. Totally.
Do your kiddos have intuition? Do you notice they're more intuitive?
Yeah, I would think so. I'm going through an interesting time right now with my teenage daughters. So,
I'm in the same boat with you, brother.
I've turned into the total dumbass in the family, and everything is my fault. Like literally everything is my fault. So I'm just kind of riding that out right now.
Here's what I think it is. Somebody told me this and I was like, yes. It's like one day somebody took my daughter's personality and kindness and soul, like an alien abducted it and took it over here. My daughter's body and soul is here, but it's me.
Yeah.
Doesn't like dad. Likes everybody but me. And then I'm just waiting for the alien to bring her back from the mothership and drop her back into her body so I can have my daughter back one day. And everyone says it happens around 18 years old.
Well, I mean, I literally, like my kids look at me like I'm not even shitting you. They act like I'm Archie Bunker. Okay. Now, I try to tell them that I'm literally like the cutting edge of thought, of consciousness. Like I go, dude, I am not Archie fucking Bunker, dude. I'm not Archie Bunker, dude. And on that note, I would say, no, my kid's intuition is not kicking in. They think I'm Archie Bunker, dude.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So, yeah, I think it happens to all teenagers. I don't care if you're living in a mud hut in Kenya or whatever, dude. I think when you get to that certain age, that I just think something happens. And cool, man, that's where I was. Like, my parents, when I was 15, 16, my parents I didn't ask them about it.
You weren't a perfect angel?
I was so not a perfect angel. I'll give you one example. I was expelled from the school that my mom taught at. So if that gives you any idea,
that's awesome.
Not of an angel I was. But yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for asking me to be a part of it. And
of course, brother. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah. Anything else you got to say, or are we good?
What's that? Surfing on a wave of good feelings. Well, it's just another Friday in paradise. So bring your A game, 'cause you know this party won't stop. We could never run out of time, sipping strawberry lime. You know I wanna share it with you. This is going